wanted to see.
That's what I would say is probably everybody's shortcoming that I've talked to that's MAGA.
Hmm.
The big thing I see is that most of the people that voted for Trump, they don't really even have a gist of kind of like what policy was passed between the last two administrations. And I think that if you actually knew, you would have a different opinion. So the first question I always ask people is like, what do you think Trump did his first term that helped you?
Yeah, and let's see, his first term, 2016. So I was like going through high school that phase, and all I remember is my mother bought a house. She wasn't struggling, single mother, only had one pretty solid job, wasn't struggling. So from my point of view, it's like I understand this was like 2018 she bought the house, 2019, something like that. But from my point of view, I'm like, okay, it wasn't terrible for her, so maybe it won't be terrible for me. Maybe he'll have the same game plan as he did 2016 and 2020 than as he will now. Obviously, I could be totally wrong, but that was my viewpoint while going into the ballot office.
So what I would say is like, I think this is a causation correlation thing. Like instead of just kind of looking at the time period, I would say like what would like look for actions of things that he did. And they're usually, I've never really heard anyone say this is what he did to make things like easier for your mom to buy a house.
Yeah.
This is what he did to make inflation low or to make gas prices low. I haven't had anybody tell me this yet, and I've been watching these debates for like 4 years now, and I've never heard anybody say an answer for that question besides the tax cuts, which if you just Google it, the tax cuts only helped rich people.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, if you don't mind, can you tell me what Biden did over these last 4 years that benefited like me? And, like in my like demographic, I'd say I'm middle class. I rent. I'm not a homeowner. I probably eat out more than I buy groceries, so that doesn't really affect me crazy amounts. But I probably eat out more than I buy groceries.
You have to understand though. Like, I'm sorry, I just have to say it. Like, even if you eat out, the price of ingredients that restaurants you eat out at when they're buying, that's the same thing. You still are affected by food prices.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So just to be clear, like what happens with farmers and food harvests and food as a commodity still affects you regardless of whether you buy food at a grocery store or get it at a restaurant. The grocery store or get it at a restaurant. The grocery store or get it at a restaurant.
Okay, my upload speeds are decent. Okay. So he did student loan forgiveness. He did the most student loan forgiveness out of most presidents in the last few decades. And he also did the PACT Act. Do you have anyone in your family who's a veteran?
No, I do not.
So my older brother's a veteran, and the PACT Act helped people, over 1.2 million applicants so far, apply for health benefits for people affected by being exposed to toxic burn pits. So like if you're in the Middle East, like my older brother, they like took all of their trash and they just fucking threw it in a pit and burned it. And it turns out that's very hazardous to your health. And that's part of the reason why Joe Biden's son died was from brain cancer, from being exposed to shit like that. So that's one thing he did for the people. You can see obvious that he's for veterans, for people. Infrastructure bill. Trump promised he would pass infrastructure bill his first administration. Never got it done. He had the House and the Senate for the first 2 years. Couldn't get it. Couldn't work with his own people. Chips and Science Act. That is going to help us invest in manufacturing microchips and conductors here in the United States. Right now, we account for about 10% of the superconductors in the world, and by the year 2030, we'll be about 20%, and we'll be just that much more independent from Taiwan, which eases up tensions with China. And the Inflation Reduction Act, this was a plus 15% minimum tax on people making 400K plus, on businesses, I mean. And that helps reduce our deficit. And it also invested in a lot of alternative energies, alternative fuels, which helped reduce oil prices because they have to compete with oil. It did quite a few other things. Invested in the IRS. For every $1 we invest in the IRS, we get $5 to $9 back. And this paid for itself. And all of these things I could actually say, like, you have tangible outcomes, like have real good things we can see. Like this infrastructure bill made 56,000 projects so far. The Chips and Science Act, we used to have an interactive map that I could show you all of the investments that have been made over the United States. Trump deleted it off the whitehouse.gov internet, or off the website, so I can't show you anymore. But all of these things were tangible things. Trump doesn't have anything like this. He doesn't have any of this. None of it. So I would say that Biden is one of the most productive presidents we've had in decades. He just doesn't come out and grab the microphone and say insane shit all the time.
Yeah. So I would, the first thing, the student loan forgiveness, I would disagree. He forgave loans of people that had very high debt or loans, which are going to be your doctor. So really the lower middle class, they weren't affected as much because these are people who had
That's
that
not
were going to
true.
be doctors. No, that like 100% is true. I didn't see any loan forgiveness.
Okay, well, I just want you to know that's not true. There's many, like, first of all, the Supreme Court, like, struck down the original student loan forgiveness, and then there's very specific categories of people, and it's not based on you just borrowed a lot. That's not what the categories are based on. You can look them up. That's not true. I understand you're saying, hey, my student debt wasn't forgiven, but you should be mad at conservatives about that, right? Like that's a student debt forgiveness is a progressive issue, right? If you don't want to pay your student loans, which they're all predatory, right? And it doesn't fix the root of the problem, right? But I do believe in student loan forgiveness. I went to school on a D1 scholarship, athletic scholarship, and I still don't like predatory student loans. But yeah, you have to look up the categories of how student loans were forgiven. Basically, conservatives, Trump, Republicans said, we're not forgiving student loans. The Supreme Court agreed. And then Biden basically found a bunch of loopholes and workarounds of student loans to forgive that he could anyways.
A lot of them were Pell Grants, which you literally have to be poor.
It's the poorest. Yeah, it's the poor.
Poor to get those.
So, again, I know I'm sounding a little selfish, but the Student Loan Forgiveness Act, that didn't affect me whatsoever. So basically, I see these are great things for some people, for a lot of people in this country. But when I'm going into that ballot office and I'm saying I'm voting for this candidate because they helped me or because they helped other people in this country. Do you know what I mean?
So
can I answer? Can I try?
Yeah.
Could I just say something in general? Because I like, this is the truth. You can look at it itemized out and you could say, Trump did nothing. If you are middle class, Donald Trump did nothing for you, period. Those are the facts. And not just Trump, but conservatives, right? Like, I'm into statistical analysis. We can look back since Ronald Reagan, right? What huge transfers of wealth are happening. Capitalism is a sine wave, boom, bust, right? And when the economy busts, like the 2008, mortgage crisis, that was forced by conservative policy. That was brought on by deregulation and conservative policy. And they want the bust because what happens? Huge transfers of wealth to the top of the economy. Like that's so what I'm trying to say is that if you believe that democratic or leftist or progressive policies have done nothing for you, I mean, you have it exactly wrong, right? Unless you are the donor class, right? Unless you are the 0.01%, there is nothing being done to benefit you by the Conservative Party. Ever.
Yeah. This is just kind of how I would illustrate that. Like, Biden, while you may not have been directly hit by one of Biden's policies, he's trying. He may have missed you, but like the people adjacent to you are getting help. And if you're part of this class, you should definitely be voting Democrat. Like, there's nothing coming to you from Trump unless you think rich people getting a tax break is going to be good for you. Unless you see rich people getting consumer protections ripped out of their, obligation or out of their liability so that they can conduct business cheaper, that's not going to help you. But if you think it is, that's why you would vote for Trump.
Yeah, I don't think that what Vice President Harris had planned for, like giving, money to new homeowners or giving money to individuals having babies, I don't think that would be a beneficial thing more as so as putting our country more in debt. I don't think that would have planned out as well as she thought it would have, and I think that would have been.
This is actually how that looks. So Trump's plan is in red. He's going to put a $600 billion.
Biden reduced our deficit. Trump contributed to the largest deficit increase in modern presidential history. So if you believe what you just said, you would never vote for Donald Trump.
But what is this based off of? Is this based off of like things that he's passed, bills he's passed?
Yes, this is based off reality.
This is based off his proposals. So like economists, like one of our best economic schools in the country, Penn Wharton, the one Trump paid to get a certificate from, that's who drew this up. So how, but can you explain this to me? How in his policies, this is how much you would spend? No. I need to understand what. Giving tax breaks to rich people costs a lot of money. And that's what he's doing.
Do you think cutting DEI would save us money?
No, it's not.
No, it doesn't even save 0.5%. Really? This is what I'm saying. You are saying words you heard Trump say. If we fired the entire federal government, if we just fired everyone that worked there, cancel. And by the way, just so we know, like you're saying, let me give you an example of that. Like all of the medical research that is paused, right? And it be due to what you're saying is DEI, which just so you know, that's a list of trigger words. They're searching through systems and they see these words and they just cancel medical research. Well, actually, for every dollar we invest in the NIH, we get $2.46 back, right? We, the American people, make money off medical research. Off DEI words, right? So you have, I say this in the nicest way, you just don't understand the numbers.
And this kind of also illustrates what I'm saying. So Kamala would have given us all a tax break all the way up to the people that make $360,000 and then would have raised taxes on the richest 1% of people. Trump's only tax breaks go to people making over $360,000, and he increases the tax liability for the rest of us. While he may have given you guys some cool stuff like no tax on tips, at the end of the day, it's actually a tax increase considering all of the other things he's doing to the tax brackets. So people are getting bamboozled.
And so also, no tax on tips has not happened. The 45-page budget proposal came out last Thursday. There's no tax on tips. There's no tax on overtime. Every single thing he promised is not in that 45-page budget proposal released.
And I was really.
I'm just being clear that what Trump promised. So I'm just saying he's a liar. I'm just letting you know that what a lot of people said they were voting for him on is not included in the budget proposal.
Well, yeah, that's why I didn't come on here off the beat and say I voted off of these principles. I that's why I said I'm not a fan. I just voted. I don't support it. I just voted for him because I thought he would be a better candidate. I do think I have a really quick question. Because I want to make sure you be able to go talk to other people that are a little bit more. But what do you think on? What do you think on? So do you think that her more on the tax bracket area?
She's just one vote. So even if all of those people who were unfairly making money. We can say all 400 people in Congress or whatever votes for that, they still wouldn't for that, they still wouldn't affect the outcome of the election, right? We would trans people in sports is an important thing, or having two genders is an important thing. You guys are getting bamboozled and robbed by people who are good at marketing.
Yeah, I mean, in that stuff, like I really couldn't care about. I think people should live their own life. I don't have any say in that. But don't you think it's a little bit interesting? Like if you take a step back and you see from the outside, like I've got someone like Nancy Pelosi who's making $200K a year. Her net worth is somehow.
I love that you just. Can I just address that, because I can give you facts around that.
I've got, and then you see our country giving other countries millions of dollars for. I mean, I don't care what it is, millions of dollars. Why? Why are we not putting America first?
Well, these are, God, you're just saying buzzwords you heard. Can I just address, because you're skipping all over the place, but let me address Nancy Pelosi. If you are concerned about, like, because I know these are just things you heard MAGA say, and you're just saying them as if these are good points in a debate, and just going forward, know that they aren't, because they collapse on themselves, right? Like if you follow the line of logic, it makes no sense. I agree. And probably one of the things MAGA and like the far left, that's the thing about the fringe, right? If you're left of left and right of right, you do agree on some things, right? And thank you for pulling up the unusual whales report. Oh, that's last year's. It's gotten even weirder too. Like, or is that this year's? I think that's last year. This year's. I think that's last year. This year's. I think that's last year. This year's. I think that's last year. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. But we have to stop them from doing that, because just so you know, just as many conservatives are doing that. Like, let me just, that Lake and Riley bill that Trump said, let me give you an example. Everything Donald Trump is doing is a money grab, right? Always follow the money. Don't listen to a word Trump says, just assume somehow a bunch of people are making millions and millions of dollars, right? It's a Senate Bill 5, that Lake and Riley bill. It is a private prison money grab, right? Trump, and you can look at opensecrets.org, how many millions of dollars were funneled to, like, Geo Group is one, like the largest private prison group, right? They passed this bill. You can look up which Congress people have huge positions in the stock market in these private prison groups and are cleaning up. They are voting to pass bills, and then they are profiting off them directly. And that's what's happening. Trump was lobbied, given millions of dollars. This bill, the goal is to have private prisons, create, detention centers or tent cities or whatever to house immigrants. It's all a kickback plan.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not, like, this wasn't me trying to say, oh, like the left is more corrupt than the right.
It's all of them.
Never do.
I promise you they're not.
Yes, yeah. I know. But, like, to be honest with you, if I'm thinking, so that's why I can't go off the basis, like, when I'm in a debate and people are like, well, the right is never, they're this unholy pieces of garbage, and I really get a lot of, we care about, the American people first. Well, if that's the case, there wouldn't be any corruption on the left at all.
That's not true.
There is, so
that's bullshit.
But, like, okay, go ahead.
Nancy Pelosi can be both. All of these people, even the right, can be both stealing and doing things in the stock market that are not good, and also advocating things that are actually real and that help real people. like all of those bills I listed, Nancy Pelosi championed them and made sure they were passed.
Two things can be true at once, is kind of what we're saying.
She could both be very good at the stock market and pass great legislation that help people. That doesn't make her horrible. What the right has done is they have nothing to offer you. So Nancy Pelosi is their big bad wolf that they want you to think is like this horrible person and we need to expel from the government. Meanwhile, they're all doing the same thing. Even the people telling you that Nancy Pelosi is horrible. This is just it's a tenet of fascism. It's they point out like one common enemy for you, and
it's always a woman. And then you hyper fixate on that woman. Meanwhile, you're being robbed by all of them. It's like the TikTok bill is another example. Like there's a lot of people in Congress on the left who are doing great things for the middle class, for us, and pushing bills that will benefit us and actually help lower the deficit. But at the same time, am I aware that some of these people have positions in Meta and are going to benefit from the TikTok ban? And does that sicken me? Sure. It can all be true at once.
Yeah. And I mean, I agree with you there, but just like sitting back, you truly believe that the left has more put America first?
Yes.
It's absolutely. It's through statistical analysis and data. Yeah. That's what I'm saying to you. You have fallen for a marketing scam, right? If you follow the numbers, because all I care about is a data-driven society. Every opinion I have is based on numbers, 100%. And when the numbers bear something else out, then I change my opinion. 100%. The trickle-down economics, right? Nothing has ever, right? Nothing has ever.
On this page, now you show me one thing during his presidency that was America. Hint, it's nothing. There's nothing he's done ever at all that's America first, that it shows where he's like invested in America. He's fucked around with taxes. He poured $2.2 trillion into the military, which at most helped 2 million active military service people maybe get extra uniforms or I don't know, better maybe get extra uniforms or I don't know, better maybe get extra uniforms or I don't know, better
not in not in not in an office for a month. Not in an office for a month. Worry about this until Biden opened up the border. There's 3 million.
That's not what happened.
That's a lie.
You have to know that. Well, do you want to learn that that's not true? Like you heard this, but have you ever looked up the facts? Because that's not true.
Here's the data on that. This is from Department of Homeland Security. Those people that work the border security, the people that overwhelmingly always support Republicans. These people came out this came out last July. Here's the number of undocumented migrants here in the United States in 2018, 11.5 million, 2019, 11.1, 2020, 10.5, 2022, 10.9. Where are the 20 million that Trump keeps saying that came in? They didn't. Biden expelled them.
And furthermore, and this is the little known secret. Let me blow your mind. Yeah, let's talk about 2023 because all these lies started perpetuating, then I had to get involved in the data. Then I started digging into the data. So the height of the encounters at the southern border during Biden's presidency was December 2023. Right, that was the height. Our rolling like 7-day average was about 8,500 encounters. Right. 1 year later, December 2024, Trump had been reelected, right? This last December, we had reduced encounters at the southern border by 75%. I don't know if you've ever taken a statistics class, but that's almost impossible. And do you know how we did it? With an app. Just telling people to make appointments. It's the weirdest thing. They all just started getting in line. And that worked. And Trump is now trying to say, and actually, I'll give credit because I've been looking into this. It's going about the same. It's holding steady. We're not having more encounters under Trump, but it was fixed.
Yeah, because nobody wants
right?
to go
the problem. And then Trump's like, oh, I'm doing something. And let me just say, there's this man, and I could give you so many people to follow on X that would help you learn these things, but his name's Aaron Reichlin Melnick. He testifies in front of Congress like once a month. He's one of the foremost immigration lawyers in the country. And he started saying like, Trump is going to take normal ICE activities and pretend, and act as if he is deporting people. And you can Google this after we get off here. And NBC News, many people have reported on all sorts of outlets, right, that these deportations aren't going the way Trump wanted. Biden is the deporter in chief, but there's a way to do it, right? Of course, we prioritize deporting criminals. Of course, but he was averaging 308 people a day. And if you look into ICE numbers, you understand what that means for deportations. Biden was shipping people out of here like nothing we'd ever see, just doing it quietly, right? Just doing it quietly. Right? Just doing it quietly, right? He had an autistic died on a military flight. We know these military flights cost literally 100 times more than the average ICE flight. Like, he's wasting money. Meanwhile, telling you, I'm rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse.
Yeah, he's just having Dr. Phil follow him around with a camera. He's not doing anything new or special besides demonizing and politicizing everything that we do normally as a country.
Yeah, but I mean, we have one of the biggest immigration populations in our country compared to any other country.
That's false.
No.
Okay, our immigration, our non-citizens make up about 2% of our country, and in Europe we have like countries that are 30 and 40%. So it's completely false.
It lets nobody into their country.
I literally have it up on my screen. 10.9 million people out of 350 million of U.S. population. What percent is that, bro?
No. I'm saying the amount of immigration that we allow into our country is higher than any other country.
No.
Other country.
No, it's not.
Other country.
No, it's not. If you're hanging out in like MAGA sphere, that's what you believe. You're like, this is happening. We're under attack. We got to do something. Like build the wall. Like none of that is happening.
What's that?
Can I say? I mean, I've got the complete opposite data that I have. Can I send it to you or?
Where do you want me to look up?
Yeah, tell us what to look up, and we can look it up.
UN countries that attract the most migrants.
Is it the chart right here?
Yeah.
The world. Okay.
Top destination countries for international migrants 2020 in millions, 34 million. But as a percentage?
Okay.
But that's it'd be pretty
significantly
small.
That's
As a percentage,
but that's
it'd be pretty
significantly
small.
That's in any other country than more than Germany.
No, but
any other country than more than Germany.
no, but fourth biggest population. We learned this the other day.
Yeah,
Last time I was made with pickles. Yeah, we pickles and we got screamed at about this for like an hour. So now we're like third or fourth biggest population in the world. So what we're saying is, when you look at immigration quotas, it goes by a percentage of your population, right? Like, and that's why I say, like, same thing with China. China's got 1 billion people, right? So it's not that they're not letting people in, but like as a total percentage of their population, it is low, right? And there are countries that literally have 30% of their population are immigrants.
So like small, like what countries? Because smaller countries, not with maybe a quarter of our population. It's a really easy number to fluctuate up and down.
Landmass and population is very much like important here, because if we were a tiny country, and we had 34 million people come, that'd be insane. But we have entire states that have almost no people in them. 500,000 people in Kentucky. Like, we have plenty of room for people. And we've done the math. And the more migrants, the more well off our economy is.
I mean, maybe federally wise, yes, but state wise,
that's not Jacob.
No.
God, Jacob, and you're smart. Can I just say something? I used to be a teacher. You're a smart kid. So like, I don't just listen to what people tell you from the MAGA sphere. Look it up, because truly this is the truth, and this is what I say. Like, with mass deportations, it makes sense on the surface to think America first. If other people are taking our jobs, they're hurting us. I want them gone. In a theory on the surface, it makes sense. But when the numbers bear none of that out, right? What we know is that we are in gross population decline. Right. And not, you can look at it as we're a country, but I mean by state. Like, Michigan is a great example of this, right? Michigan is in gross workforce with work visas and immigration, because they're in population decline and have been for a long time. Right. And what you don't know about undocumented immigrants and all these people that you are convinced are hurting you is they're not. Right. They have ITIN numbers. These people are paying into your retirement, Social Security, Medicare. They'll never collect it back. They're just boosting our economy. And what we know is these are jobs that no one else wants to do. Right. These are harvesting our food. There's not Americans that are going to do that. Right. That stuff will just be left in the fields. In every way, immigration, our economy is propped up on immigration. We function with immigration, and we need legal immigration. Right. We need to fix an immigration system. I don't necessarily want people sneaking in. Let's give them work visas.
Even with those numbers that you showed me, did you know that the United States is in population decline?
Badly.
And it's real bad. By the year 2100, we will dip by 6 million people. So we'll reach, by 2080, I believe we'll hit 370 million. And then by 2100, we'll go back down to 366 million. So we'll start losing people. That's like losing people in the workforce. And it only keeps going down from there. Like, even if you had all the babies right now, it would still dip. Like, so what we need are like people of working,
able-bodied workers who can go
who are
right
already
now.
18 years old. Like,
and I talk about this.
That's the population we need right now to fill that gap.
Do you know where they're all going to be? By 2040, where will all of the able-bodied workers, because there is some place not in population decline. It's Africa. So as long as we stay scared of brown and black people, and we won't let able-bodied people come build up our economy, because that's what America was built on, allowing people to come here and succeed and work hard and benefit all of us, then we will fail. Like, that is the recipe that makes America go. And I just want to say something. Someone in the comments said, I've never been on a farm. Multiracial, like, my dad's black and indigenous. My other grandfather is like pure German from the Midwest, like owned a farm / ranch in southern Minnesota. So nice try. I actually have been on a farm and was forced to work on one during the summers sometimes. And also, one more thing. We don't need to tap the screen. We need to tap like our lives depend on it and get to 100K. And can everyone share the live? Just push that arrow and share the live with 5 to 10 people. If you don't have anyone to share it with, just push the copy link button. Let's get people in here.
Guys, I'm so sorry for the lag. That's what's going on. I'm assuming my internet will stable out in just a little bit. Guys, I'm so sorry.
Do you think that, I mean, looking at the way other countries give people like citizenship and make it to where they have to go through certain processes. Like, for example, Australia, when you want to extend your work visa or want to get a citizenship, you have to show how you are giving, or how you are, I mean, for example, like you have to show you have a job, you somehow support the local community, whether that's
I think that's
working or-
great. No, that's
yeah.
good.
Which I know, but I know, but I know the left wants to make it very common to our country.
No, that's not where. Can I help? Can I answer your question? Because I know the real answer. And this is what you need to think about. When you're on the right and you're voting for the like the rich, the billionaires and the corporations that they own, right? And this is what you don't understand about undocumented labor, right? The immigration system has never been fixed, right? It's been broken for decades and decades and decades. Because I agree that we need pathways to work visas. And like you said, hey, if you want to contribute, if you want to have a job and come here and pay into our social security, help us retire, cool. We welcome you. But why have we never set up a system like that? Why would we keep people undocumented? It's because corporations, right, and billionaires slave labor, right? Our country was built on the transatlantic slave trade of slave labor. Now, maybe it's really uncool to be doing slave labor anymore, but undocumented immigrants are the next closest thing. We can work them to death. You know, corporations can to death. They're off the to death. They're off the books. That's what it is. The rich billionaires, they don't want to pay people. That's why we've offshored jobs. I agree with you, America First. Conservatives are not America First. That's why all these factories are in China. Cheap slave labor, capitalism. They rely upon it. They don't want to pay. Rely upon it. They don't want to pay.
Or I would rather. Or I would rather have the mutually beneficial relationship with them than to kick them into a country where they were trying to escape and make them be homeless again and possibly separated from their families. Like, none of this helps us the way that Trump is doing this, or the way he's trying to do it in excess. Deporting criminals is fine. We're already looking at undocumented migrants being far less likely to be a violent or a property crime criminal, like at a rate of 1/3 and 1/4. So, like, if they flooded our country, that would be ideal. It would make our crime rates plummet.
We'd all be safer.
Yeah, I need to take a step back. Hold on. So, the left currently, they're, want the higher taxes on the billionaires, on the 1%.
You want them to pay the same rates that we are paying.
Absolutely.
So just them out.
Yep. So that would mean that, that would maybe include some of these farmers, some of these people that have farms, that have these undocumented immigrants working for lower pay. So full circle, let's think about this. Why would you want to advocate for this, borderline slave labor, and instead get rid of all that labor? So now these companies are hurt.
Farmers are not millionaires. If you are under the impression
farmers, we lost you.
But at the end of the day, Pickles, I'm like, you basically just justified the labor of this.
No, in fact, none of them. I would say that almost none of them make slave wages, unless. Almost none of them make slave wages, unless you. Almost none of them make slave wages, unless you.
wage should have been, because I know Biden raised it. Do you think it should be raised?
Oh, yes, it absolutely should be. Well, and I just want to be clear, like, yeah, labor rights is a progressive issue. Like, understanding that we don't want to bite off our nose to spite our face, right? These mass deportations, like, these are wording labor we need. What we need is pathways to citizenship or to documentation, right? What we need is to, well, now no one's ever going to trust us or come out of the woodwork, be documented now, because they're just going to believe we're going to deport them. But yeah, what we need is to encourage people and say, hey, like, we appreciate you contributing to our economy. We know this is a revenue situation for us. Situation for us. Situation for us. Immigration system is broken, and we need to fix. We need to fix it.
Yeah, and that's.
We need to fix it.
Yeah, and that's like, if I guess not stop, but if he strictly said he was only going to deport like criminals and make it a lot easier for people that are working, that are immigrants, that currently have a job, I would 100% be like, I'm all for that. That is amazing. But that's, I think that the left is pushing this narrative that he wants to deport everybody, every single person that is not currently a U.S. citizen in this country is going to leave this country regardless if they have a family. That's what his
own estimates. What he has said is that what he has said is that of international economics, like, I love numbers, and there have been analyses done on what that will do to our countries. We are looking at worse than the Great Depression. So that is why people who understand mathematics, yeah, it makes no sense to do that. He's the one that said he's going to do it. And then people ran the numbers on it and were like, yeah, that's idiotic.
Yeah. And I mean, like, currently right now, he's only going after criminals, right? Like, if criminals, right? Like, if
50% are just randos.
Immigrant, the criminal, is with another immigrant that is not a criminal. Yes, they get two birds with one stone. Yes, but that doesn't mean that they just say, okay, we know at this address there's, in undocumented living there. No, they're gonna go.
Right? Like this, right? Like and this is
The families, yeah.
I'm talking about the statistical analysis of how our economy crashes. And that doesn't even have to be the actual deportation. It has to be people not showing up to work, right? Will crash our economy. So this, right? You are saying that, let's see. Well, I'm looking for actual stats rather than, because it looks like we have an anecdotal story here at the beginning, which I don't like those. But, I've always said we are 100%. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to keep scrolling until I find the actual numbers on this. But yeah, there's many articles that have come out talking about this. And the issue is what it will do to the American economy, right? Like, if we're talking about numbers and how it will hurt you, it will. When people stop showing up to work, stop picking the harvest, stop showing up to work in construction, all of these things hurt us. We are biting off our nose to spite our face.
Do you think that if say that they all left, you're telling me that not a single left, you're telling me that not a single jobs were higher rate or were higher paying, telling me not a single person. Not a single person. I mean, obviously, the undocumented immigrants would do it because they. I mean, yeah.
Like those jobs rely on like weird hours, and it's hard work. So it's not just that they don't get paid enough; it's just really hard work. Like roofing is hard work, and it's like no matter how much money you make. Like you have to be extremely fit. You have to be willing to, here in Texas, be willing to sit on top of a shingled black roof in like above 100-degree temperatures, burning your knees and hands and arched over on your knees, willing to fall 2 or 3 stories down to your death. Like it's really bad hard work. And migrants
Pickles
are
used
more
to
than
have
willing
a
to do it.
construction company. So this is why he feels very passionate about this.
Like I've seen them napping beneath dump trucks for an hour to escape the sun.
Oh, I found the reference. If anyone wants reference, like the highest day of arrest so far. So ICE makes close to 1,200 arrests in one day. Nearly half of those detained arrest, which have dropped off. Not people who are criminals. So like all I'm saying is stop with the don't worry, they're going to get in criminals. We always have gone if they were out of here.
Yeah, okay. So can I if say that you're doing like an Easter egg hunt, right? You've got an egg right in front of you. You know that
you already did an analogy.
No, because I'm trying to make you. You're not understanding.
You're trying to tell me why it's okay to round up a family and take them out of here.
If it's a family, the father is a family. The father is not documented. Why would they just take the father and they know that he's living with 2 kids and a wife and maybe the wife.
Well, if the kids are born here, they're still citizens. I understand you probably are for ending birthright citizenship, but America was built on it. So the kids probably are citizens.
So you would want the kids to just stay in the country without their parents?
No, I would want, and again, you're changing the claim that I'm making. What I am telling you is, you are a bigot who's like, hey, I feel I would like to crash the American economy because Trump misled me about some things and I feel uncomfy, right? We know encounters at the southern border before Trump entered office were at an all-time low. In December 2024, they were lower than they were when Donald Trump left office. That problem was already fixed. And you're just saying because you've gotten got. I come from the advertising industry. Like, you have fallen victim to an advertising campaign and you're saying, let's crash our economy because I can't tell the difference between a really deceptive marketing strategy and reality. And what I'm saying is, and just to add to that, not only will we be hurting ourselves economically, we know, right? And I'm just going to cite a Stanford economic policy study called The Mythical Tie Between Immigration and Crime. If I want to be safer, I will move to a neighborhood of immigrants. That is where I am most safe in America. They are less likely to commit crimes or to be incarcerated than American citizens. 30% less likely than white American citizens. And when you factor in the disproportionate jailing of black and brown people, they're 60% less likely. So what I'm saying is, nothing you say, if you're just like, hey, I'm a bigot and I feel this way because Trump told me to, that's cool. The numbers make no sense. None of your positions do the numbers bear out.
So would you willingly move to Indian School Road next to the Grand Canyon campus?
Dude, I grew up on Indian School Road. Please, I'm
Okay,
from Phoenix. I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona. You're talking, I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona. In South Phoenix. I am indigenous Mexican. My father is from the Yaqui tribe that straddles the southern border.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not. I run 10 miles a day in South Phoenix. I've been mugged twice in the last year. Still don't care.
That's a problem.
You're talking to the wrong. But again, not guess who did that? White men. 2 white men on on illicit substances. So again, what I'm telling you is, I am safer in a neighborhood of immigrants. You have feelings that if you looked at the data, you would say, oh, I guess like I was just told these things and the data doesn't match my feelings.
Yeah, no, I mean, at the very start of the live, I told you if Donald Trump ruins, if I get absolutely bent over, which it could be a possibility, I'm definitely gonna regret my vote, like I said. But what stance did I have to vote for Vice President Harris? I didn't have one, Felice, and that's what I was trying to explain to you. Like, when I went into the office to cast my vote, what stance do I have? When I look back, what did Joe Biden do for me in the last 4 years? I'm going to vote selfish.
And
That's
again, I told you that already,
Yeah.
and I need you to know this. Trickle down economics. Since Reagan, every time a conservative has been in office, there have been huge transfers of wealth that their deregulation, their policies can directly be tied to. You are being robbed by conservative policy. You directly are being robbed by conservative policy. And I highly suggest you do the research and understand that. If you are not a billionaire or you do not own some huge corporation, you are being robbed by conservative policy.
Yeah, like
nothing has trickled down.
All of these things that Trump and Elon Musk are cutting from the federal government, even after all of these things are not going to be paid for by the federal government, your taxes still go up. Your taxes still go up. With Kamala, your taxes would have been reduced and we would have still had all those programs. Things like Medicare, Medicaid, whatever. People wouldn't be losing their life-saving funding to like be in hospitals or in hospice care or in old folks' homes. Like, I'm looking at both sets of my parents and my grandparents. They're all about to get that shit slashed, and they all voted for Trump. And I have mixed feelings about pointing and laughing and feeling bad for them.
Yeah. So I have just a quick question, because I want to make sure you get to talk to other people too as well today. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but before Donald Trump got into office, a lot of the Democratic side were saying that he was going to slash VA, the whole VA system. And as of right now, currently, he's only cut 0.25% of it. So is that still something that you...
The budget, you don't understand how the budget works, right? The budget proposal just came out last Thursday, right? It has to be, they're going to slam it through with a huge reconciliation bill. That's where the veterans cuts are. They haven't happened, they have to, that's what we're saying. Jacob, you got to get away from this idea. And Trump did this to you. Like, whoever's in office, they're directly responsible for whatever happens at that time. It's not, right? You have to look at what bills were passed, what they were directly responsible for. Trump is about to jam. He's about to increase the deficit, trillions of dollars. He's about to add to our deficit to give corporations and billionaires tax cuts. And then they're going to slash Social Security, Medicare, veterans benefits. All of that is coming up. You can look up it's like a 46-page budget proposal. Yeah, but they haven't jammed it through yet, right? We're facing a government shutdown. When is the government shutdown? Then March 15th. That's going to be like probably the first fight over it, and then by summer they have to jam this thing through.
I know, but I mean, it's not a new thing that even my generation is going to get like a Social Security check. Like, I was being told in high school by teachers that good luck seeing that, because your generation probably won't even see a penny.
You know
of
what?
it.
You know what
like
helps that? Migrants.
What? Did it help in the last 4? Okay, so
Yes.
I mean, like, did it help?
Absolutely, they're paying into it. That's what we're trying to tell you.
No.
You don't
Like,
know how the
I'm
government
still in the
works,
same
Jacob.
spot that I was 4 years ago.
No, you're not.
I'm not going to touch my Social Security. I'm not going to even see it in my generation.
But
That's not how the social
we're not
safety
sure
that works, though.
Like Democrats have actively tried to keep it, and Republicans have tried to cut it every year. Last time Trump was in office, they've notoriously been the ones who've dipped into it and sabotaged it since the beginning. And we're the ones who say, hey, if we just take the cap off of the amount you could pay as a very rich person, I think the cap is at $172,000. If we just took that cap off and billionaires actually had to pay the same percentage as we did, it would be fixed immediately. But Republicans
that
would
one.
never let it happen. And
what? Let me explain what he's saying, Jacob, so you can know how you're being robbed by rich people. Because this is a really great point. Like, what is the cap now? It's like, is it up at 200 something? Basically, if you're rich and you make, let's say you make 10 million a year, instead of having to do what we do, average middle class people, and you pay out of every paycheck, there's a percentage that goes to Social Security, right? The Republicans, the people you vote for, conservatives, set a cap. And they just said, oh, I'll pay into Social Security up until it's like 200,000 or something. And then after that, they make 10 million. So many lies, bro. Ian, you're an idiot. Ian, I've been watching your comments in the chat, and you are the least educated person in this chat. There are 629 people in here, Ian. You know the least of everyone. If I was you, less typing, more thinking.
2025 maximum amount of earnings in which you must pay Social Security tax is $176,100. If we just took that cap off.
Ian is the dumbest person in this chat. If he continues to stay here, hopefully he'll stop typing and start reading the information that's being provided to him. Because God, Ian, how are you this clueless? It's been going on for 20 minutes of you knowing nothing and continuing to act like we know nothing. I'm sorry. I lost it for a second. It's just like, imagine being that idiotic and being so sure of yourself. White men failing up. It's a phenomenon we'll never understand. Yeah. 176,000. They get taxed off $176,100. No more, right? They can make $10 million a year. They're not paying into Social Security. They're not paying into Social Security for you, Jacob. It'd be no problems.
Yeah, and I mean, that could be the case, but I appreciate
it's 100% the case.
Yeah,
and
yeah. I
followed you, Jacob. Okay. Smart. You're too smart to stay over there. The more you learn, you have to move left. Logic just makes you move left.
I promise you, I'll make sure to not look at biased sources anymore. I'll try and keep it very unbiased for you guys. But I appreciate the conversation. I hope I didn't make too many people mad in the comments. I hope everyone has a good day.
Great, Jacob. Ian's an idiot.
Yeah, I'll let Ian get up here. I'll let you guys go at him, all right?
All right, have a good day, bub.
Yeah, yep, you guys too.
Ian's coming up.
Hello.
What's up, bub?
Police, I'm sorry. I did not mean to make you mad up there.
it's just your abject ignorance. My patience for it is...
That's fair enough. What do you think that I was being ignorant about? I guess I should ask first.
No, just every factual thing we said, you say...
What's that? Which one?
The thing on the screen?
Yeah, the thing right here that you were like, no, it's not.
The maximum amount of earnings on which you must... The maximum amount of earnings on which you must... The maximum amount of earnings on which you must... Talking about a maximum tax cap.
This would make it. This would make it solvent again. It's insolvent right now.
Okay. This would make it solvent. What would be solvent? What do you mean?
Have to explain the word solvent.
No. I'm confused. I didn't hear you that you guys were just talking about Social Security tax. I thought you were talking about all taxes. So when I hear that you say,
whatever, backpedaler, whatever you got to say. You've made so many ignorant comments. Everyone in the chat has been exposed to you being like, no, that's not right. I've watched people responding to you over and over and being like, hey, you don't know what you're talking about, Ian. And now you get up and you're like, oh, I'm lost and confused. I didn't know we were talking about Social Security tax. Let's just stop. Let's just start a clean slate. Okay, and let's just start a new conversation. I think that's best.
Let's do it.
It's best.
Let's do it.
Ian, I think you recently commented on one of my videos too about migrants.
I did.
Oh my God.
So
you making content, Pickles?
A little bit.
I love that for you. I really need to start.
A little bit. You guys.
There's an echo.
Ian, do this with your phone. You there?
Yeah, I should be. I don't know.
All right, there you go.
Work it.
Yeah, and I'm sorry if I was, being a little bit inflammatory in the comments. I also just wanted to come up here and, actually have a debate. So, had to do what I had to do. But
Dreams have come true, Ian.
I would love to start a real conversation, if possible.
What do you want to talk? What's on your mind? What's keeping you up?
Well, I think that a lot of the stuff, I think that maybe you guys brushed over, some of the immigration stuff a little bit quick. And, I think when you guys are claiming, I can't tell if this is lagged out or not. Can you hear? I don't know what's going on.
I can hear you. I don't know if the chat
So when you guys are claiming, that, we're keeping our border policy strict, people aren't getting in, legally, at any higher I think.
Yeah, it's an oversimplification of that's not what we said.
So in the
height of encounters at the southern border was December 2023. I just want to say this. Wait, the height of encounters at the southern border was December 2023, right? And 1 year later, December 2024, right? Trump is this last December we had reduced them by 75%. They were at a lower place than they were when Trump left office. That was a claim I made.
Okay, and would you argue that was largely due to federal policies or state policies, like the one that Texas put into place?
Neither.
Oh, no, it's due to an executive order, right? It's actually due to probably let me answer your question, Ian. Let me answer your question, Ian. Let me answer your question, Ian. It's due to an executive order, right? That had to do, you can look it up, but that the ACLU was actually fighting in the courts, right? Because executive orders aren't.
When did he sign that?
I don't know. We can look up somewhere before June. It was right before June. Wait, Ian, stop talking and listen for a second. Ian, this is not you just saying random things. Just listen for a second. So
in response to immense public pressure, or was that because he wanted to? Was that because they were?
Wait, hold on. Can you just stop talking? No, let me help you with the real story, because and again, these are just random anecdotal narratives you have in your mind. So let's tell the real story. What really happened was, right? Executive orders, and we're seeing this with Donald Trump, right? The mind of a madman. You can put out 1,000 executive orders a day, but what happens, right? The judiciary exerts power and sets the limits of the executive branch. So that's the point. And the reason Biden never did an executive order wasn't because he wasn't trying to do something. It was because he was trying to do something permanent. He was trying to change the actual laws, the asylum laws around immigration. And when you change the laws through what? The legislative branch, through actual legislation, then later the federal, wait, Ian, learn something because you don't know.
I'm listening.
So then later the federal courts can't come back and strike down your executive orders because those aren't laws. So what we did, right, was we had the Republicans, who's your toughest on immigration? Trump endorsed James Langford, the senator from Ohio in 2022. That's tough on the border. And we had Chris Murphy negotiating for the left and then Kirsten Sinema, who's an independent. And we came up with the bipartisan border bill. I hate the bipartisan border bill. Do you want to know why? Because it was absolutely egregious. There was no pathways to citizenship. It was like everything the conservatives had ever wanted all wrapped up in a neat bow, right? And it was going to change asylum laws. It wasn't some Band-Aid executive order that later the federal, the ACLU could come back and strike down through the federal courts and judge shopping. It was permanent. And Trump said, no, I want to run on the borders broken. So I am not going to pass this. And that also included the needed funding for the border. If you understand what's going on in Congress right now, there's a huge need to fund the border before the next government shutdown, right? Because we have never thrown any money at the border. Biden reducing those encounters by 75%. There was no more money. We didn't throw money at the problem. We didn't help what we actually need, which is more asylum judges to adjudicate these cases faster. It was nothing, right? He did that all on his own with just an executive order. That's a Band-Aid. So that's why it happened like that.
Yeah. Okay. And those are not bad points at all. And I actually did learn a couple of things right there. Thank you. The only counterpoint that I'm going to have to that is about, it comes down to the timeline at the end of the day. We had been having immigration problems. There had been people talking about it, complaining about it at southern border states. I live in Southern California.
I live in Arizona.
Okay, and so then you know that this had been a big problem.
Well, I don't know anything that you're talking about yet.
Well, I'm just saying that in people's minds, illegal immigration.
Yes, in Ian's mind, everyone. I do agree with this point. In Ian's mind, yes.
Okay, am I not allowed to talk? I let you talk. I would like to talk now. In a lot of people's minds, right, and probably over 50% of the average American's minds, illegal immigration was a pretty big problem. And seemingly, the federal government was entirely ignoring it for about 2 to 3 years there until that executive order was put into place in early June 2024. So from 2020, 2021, where, Operation Lone Star. Operation Lone Star.
Understand the Constitution, Ian?
Right. So,
these are all your feelings. Again, you are listing your feelings about immigration.
Even during Trump's administration.
And then you're assigning. Listen, you don't understand how debate works, Ian. What you have just done is said a list of how you feel, and then you said, and I feel like 50% of America felt like that. This is not how debate works.
All I'm saying is that, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. In your opinion, yes, you should start every sentence with "I feel like."
Okay. Look, all I'm saying is that I feel that illegal immigration was entirely ignored by Biden's party. And you can talk about this late June or early June executive order being put into place in 2024, right before he's about to step out the door. But just simply ignoring it for 2 to 3 years while the average American is concerned about it was not a good policy.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that, okay? Entirely ignoring, I think, is a straw man, all right? Because we have Biden's border and the numbers being reported that Biden had a more strict border than Trump. He was more likely to expel people who tried to cross people who tried to cross, they stop them when they get here.
Right.
So if 12 million people tried to come, we expelled 50%. If Trump was in office, it would have been 47. More people would have come through.
And what we know is, and this is the truth, Ian, because wait, and let's not stop the line of logic, because I feel like we're learning. Ian, think about that. I want you to just think about that, because like I said, what I don't dispute is that the height of encounters at the southern border was December 2023, right?
Right.
But why were they there? Why are people with a land bridge to the United States showing up? No, that's not why.
That is why.
Ian, that's the least intelligent answer you could ever give. Let me help you learn. Ian, I will not let you off here without learning something. And just for the next time you debate, you won't embarrass yourself. This will help you. Let's talk about root causes of immigration. Because that's what you need to know is, if you hate brown people showing up at our southern border, what Donald Trump's current policies are going to increase the number of brown people showing up at the southern border. When Trump threatens tariffs, when Trump creates Ian, I'm not show up at the southern border. Okay. And this started in the 70s and 80s, right? You need to understand what the United States did in Central and South America and why people now show up at our southern border. Right. Every time we F around with other people's economies, when we devalue people's currencies, when we sanction people, when we stop people from being able to sell oil, then they show up at our southern border.
We'll have wait on that too.
Ian, let me give you an exact recent example of that. Donald Trump, in his first term, tried to do a coup in Venezuela. And that was a failed coup. And let me tell you something. If you don't know, every country south of here, okay? Every country. I used to live in South America. I've lived in many South American countries. I am indigenous Mexican. The fact that you don't know, Ian, that all we have done is fuck up other people's economies south of here makes me worried for the future of America. The American education system has failed you. Everybody that's showing up at our southern border is our fault. We did it. We destabilized their economy. We devalued their currency. We sanctioned their economies within an inch of their lives. And then we created crime. The number one driver of crime is poverty, right? We turned off their economies. Then crime developed and mass populations had to flee north.
And to fuck
so if
them
you
over
don't
even
want
worse,
that to happen, tell Trump to stop turning off people's economies.
He poured salt on the wound and gave Venezuelans specifically temporary protective status for 18 months on his way, days before he left office, just to pull more Venezuelans in because he lost and he wanted Venezuela to hurt.
Okay.
Now he just repealed the temporary protected status. He did a failed coup in their country, drove them further into poverty, and now they voted for him. These Venezuelans, they voted for him and now just repealed their temporary protected status a couple weeks. Protected status a couple weeks. It's been ongoing. It's been extended. Like, he started the temporary protected status, like, because of his failed coup. When he left office the first time, he extended it, and then Biden extended it further, and then Trump just got back in office and was like, nope, get the F out.
He's like, what are y'all doing here? Why are y'all out here?
Why are y'all here? It's not because I effed up your country, forced you all to flee here.
I view myself to be a decently, rational person. I'm not a fan of mass deportation of non-violent, non-criminal immigrants. I believe in immigration, and I believe that, immigration is what made the United States what it is today, and it will continue to do so. The only reason I brought immigration up is because I feel like it was such a driving factor in the election.
And that was by design. That was a marketing campaign. What you have to understand the difference is data-driven facts. Right. And a very good marketing campaign. That is exactly the point I was trying to make, but it might have gone on too long, and I get it. The point is that Biden tried to change the laws permanently to make it so people couldn't enter this country through asylum laws. Like, they were more stringent. It was going to be more difficult. We were going to pretty much shut down the southern border for what you guys think. Based on rolling averages of encounters, we were going to be able to shut down the southern border legally. And Trump said, don't pass that. We got to kill that because I'm running on the border's broken. I'm just saying you're right to believe that because that's what you were told, but the data doesn't bear that out.
Well, I mean, I think that the data to some extent does bear that out because Pickles, I know what video you're talking about. Yeah.
And cite some data. Now is when you bring in your data set.
Okay, well, I'm on live on my phone, so I need to go look on Safari. I don't know if that's going to work, but I can bring in my data set. If you give me a sec. But I mean, so Pickles, your last video, you were talking about, nice filter, man. The 1.5 million.
My God, handsome.
The 1.5 million, was that the number of...
Those are gotaways.
Illegal immigrants that that got through?
You're talking about gotaways.
Okay.
There will always be gotaways. We'll always have more gotaways, and they'll be based off the amount of encounters.
Okay, so out of curiosity, what is that number compared to, I don't know, under previous administrations, if you have that pulled up?
I don't know so those are always estimates too. So it's not like they're counting the amount of people that got away. Those are just estimates based on encounters.
Right.
Guys, we're going to be voting on filters.
You're just going to wear a filter forever. We're almost to 100K. Keep tapping the screen. Oh my gosh.
Oh my
God. They've gotten some more filters. Are these TikTok filters or?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Hey, so I heard you talking about another thing, and I don't really have an opinion on this, but just about, how illegal immigrants oftentimes, work jobs that the typical U.S. citizen is not going to be willing to take, whether it's because of, the difficulty of labor or it's because of the pay. Do you think that that's a good thing per se? That you're willing to take those jobs? Or do you think that that's a form of slave labor in a sense?
No, it is slave labor. No, I'm for labor laws are a progressive issue. I think all of us should want labor to be regulated. We should all want to be part of something like a union, or we should all want the average wages to grow. None of us benefit from slave labor in this country.
Here's what I hear when you guys say, oh, that's slave labor. You guys would never even vote, ever. Not one of you guys in Congress or the Senate would ever propose or vote on a bill that gave labor rights to somebody, even United States citizens, when you guys are all America first, yet your prescription to saving these people from slave wages is to kick them out and even further their horrible conditions. Horrible conditions. Horrible conditions.
Documented, undocumented workers and give them rights, because that actually will help us as middle class workers. Because what Trump is saying, right, and you probably heard this a lot when he was running, he was like, oh, the brown people are taking your jobs, they have your money. First of all, the brown people don't have anyone's money. The money is at the top of the economy. But he's like, oh, they're taking brown and black citizens' jobs, implying that that's the case. He's basically saying, hey, I'm going to get rid of undocumented slave labor workers, and then we'll just brown and black people in America, or poor people, whoever, then you could do these jobs. He's not offering better wages. He's not offering labor rights. He's not saying, we'll unionize this and make this a better situation for you. That's what you have to listen to with conservatives. They have no interest in any of us making a living wage. Like, capitalism is dependent on the cheapest labor.
Yeah.
They don't want us to organize. They don't want us to be okay.
His support for H-1B visas and stuff. They want to pull migrants in, pay them less for jobs that Americans would do and require higher pay for. They still want that part of the system. They just don't want the people they demonize to get elected in here anymore.
Well, I mean, an H-1B visa is for skilled workers.
Exactly.
Oh, it's not. It's not. I just need you to know that it's not, though.
What's it for?
Well, no, they say that. And I want to be clear. Listen, I come from the tech industry, and I can tell you, like, in the context of H-1B visas, like, Elon Musk says that, like, because what he wants, which this is also a crime, right? If you're America first, you should be against H-1B visas. This is that, like, MAGA fighting Elon Musk about that. That was the first time I was like, oh my God, they're following a lot of logic correctly. Crazy. Because what it's saying, H-1B visas are indentured workers, right? I come from the tech industry. Those are engineers that are brought here. They are paid way less than an American engineer. And that's the deal. They don't want to pay American wages. What an American engineer gets paid, and American engineers, if you work in the tech industry, we know, right? They're fickle. They can leave anytime. Right? They're fickle. They can leave anytime. I'm never coming back here. And they don't like that. Now, when you're on an H-1B visa, you have to work for that company. You have to work the hours they say. If you refuse, they can deport you. It's like having indentured slaves versus American engineers that are paid what they deserve. We should wholeheartedly fight against H-1B visas. But also, I just want to say this. Two things can be true. But in the short term, if we continue abolishing the Department of Education and not educating American students in math, and our STEM scores keep dropping, then we will need H-1B visas to keep our own economy from crashing, to keep innovation happening. We have to invest in our own children in America. I'm a former teacher. I'm very passionate about investing in our own kids and giving them, like, the science, technology, engineering, and math educations they need to succeed.
Mm-hmm. And I think most people can get behind that. I see what you're saying with the H-1B visas, like how, it's a form of indentured servitude, and, like, they can just kick you back out, But I mean, we only give out so many of these a year, like, not very many at all. Like 40,000, if I'm correct, 70,000.
No, it's more than that. And they're lobbying. That's one of the things the tech industry has lobbied Trump for, is to increase the H-1B threshold. That's what they want, right? They want more. And that's why, and Trump is signaling he's going to give it to them. So let's just watch that. Yeah, let's see if that threshold increases. We don't know yet.
Yeah, we don't know. I mean, and if so, then I think most people would agree that things are going in the wrong direction. But we'll see.
These arguments are what I always hear is, like, most agree, most of these people voted for, people feel like migrants are ruining this or that, and this is just merely because of campaigns done by the right. Like, they're messaging to you guys. They show you a clip of people walking across the border in a caravan. They show people in the streets of New York receiving aid, and they say, what about the veterans? But if you look any closer at it, you would just see that it's
at the end of the day, I'm not going to talk objectively about things that I don't know for a fact, though.
Yeah, I'm illustrating to you what propaganda looks like. That's what propaganda looks like.
I was a philosophy major. I'm going to be subjective. I'm not going to toss something out there that I'm 95% sure of and pose it as fact. Okay, so
that's fine. I know I'm not scrutinizing your words, but I'm just saying you're not the only one who's
in a certain way. I think I've been pretty open-minded.
You people that yell your feelings on TikTok. Yes,
I'm not yelling my feelings on TikTok. I'm having a conversation with you guys.
The people I talk to in my stream all have the same views and none of the facts. They're like, you're telling me that what I saw on TV is wrong. What about Laken Riley? When Laken Riley is not a statistic, she is a individual singular case. And you look at the data, and it's like 29 people got killed last year. It's nothing, absolutely nothing. And we say 40,000 gun deaths versus 29 people. It's laughable that this is your top issue.
That immigration is my top issue?
Yeah.
Immigration isn't my top issue. It's just an issue that I thought was interesting. I mean, I think the economy is basically everybody's top issue.
Then you would do things that are best for the economy. Deportation is not great for the economy. Scaring people into coming into work, into not coming into work because they're going to get deported is not good for the economy. Trump's tariffs, not good for the economy. There's nothing that Trump is proposing that's actually good for the economy, unless you know something I don't.
I don't think any of those things are inherently bad for the economy. Maybe short term they are. I think long term, all those things could be argued as being good for the economy.
No, they can't. God, you don't. Well, you don't die on that hill. Ian. Don't die on that hill yet.
First of all, I'm not sure for a fact, but the one with Canada is no longer up, correct?
Even
you're going to explain how long-term tariffs. Can I tell you? Because I can listen. You don't understand the economy. I just know you don't. You can't say that statement. Nothing Trump is doing is good for our economy. Let me just help you. If we tariff people, right, that's going to make it. Just stay with me for a second. That's going to make imports to the United States more expensive. People are going to buy them less. Therefore, their dollar is exchanged. Trump is doing the exact opposite of what he would need to do if, in fact, he wanted to increase the value. He wanted to increase the value of America. And you're right. Like when you're kind of on, I'll give you this, Ian. When you're like, but he didn't do this, Ian. When you're like, but he didn't shoot up and making our exports more expensive. He's increasing trade deficits.
So what I'm saying is that these were temporary tariffs in order to get these countries to like better comply with what we want.
That's not what he said, though. He ran on blanket tariffs. Tariffs. That's not what he said, though. This is not what he ran on. And not what he said. Like protectionism, tariffs in steel and aluminum, those are things that have already happened. But blanket tariffs are different. You are making sure we exchange the dollar less, increase the value of the dollar, thereby increase the value of our exports. So people will export less. We'll be able to export less and increasing trade deficits. It doesn't make sense.
Every piece of data we have on Trump's tariffs, even the ones he done before or the ones he just put in place for China, every single one of them say we're going to lose jobs to the tunes of hundreds of thousands. So unless you know something I don't, again, there's no upside to any blanket tariffs. Like targeted tariffs have always been okay. And
have blanket tariffs on, like, are they implemented?
That's what he ran on.
Like theoreticals.
The Chinese ones are.
Well, no, and to be fair, there's a loophole in those too. I just don't. He just didn't want to report on it. He's pretending he tariffed China, and he didn't even tariff China. Any package less than $800 coming inside the U.S. can avoid the tariff. So
that's because of the post office, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, no, but I mean that's most of how packages are moved across that's most of everything.
Right. So, okay, but as of right now, we do not have any blanket tariffs laid down on anybody.
On China, we do.
Okay, on China, but we've had We've had tariffs on China for years and years.
No, we haven't.
These are new.
The last time Trump was in office, we had a tariff.
No, that was on soybeans. You don't even know what you're talking about, Ian. We never had blanket tariffs. We never had blanket tariffs before.
Okay. So we haven't had blanket, but we had normal on goods.
No, there's not normal. It's not normal. Protectionism is not normal anyways.
Goods.
Hey, just so you know, protectionism always hurts the American consumer. It's always hurting us.
Okay. Good to know.
But yeah, we never had what Trump is doing now will not help anything.
Okay.
To yell, I hate trade deficits and then shoot the value of our currency up. The reason we have trade deficits is because the value of the dollar is too high. If you want to move more exports, you devalue your currency. Like, it's the exact opposite. And that's how I know that just supporting Trump means I don't understand. Means I don't understand. Means I don't understand. Means I don't understand. It's It's basic.
Are you arguing that you wish our dollar was worth less?
No.
So that
You don't understand. No, this is a tightrope walk that you don't understand.
Why?
You don't
Why would
just
you say that?
Ian, let me help you. Just by you saying that, I know you don't understand what devaluing currency is. It's not devaluing currency like you're thinking, right? In order to move product, because materials to make things here are high, because cost of labor is high, right? So people don't take our exports. It's very expensive to take U.S. exports.
We're bougie. We're a consumer country. We get to buy it all.
Yeah, we are the consumption in the trade triad. We consume. We don't export. So just by Trump talking about trade deficits shows he doesn't understand them. And yes, Scott Bessent, the head of the Treasury who learned at the feet of George Soros, one of his passion projects is to devalue U.S. currency. Trump is currently doing the opposite. But yeah, Scott Bessent wrote research papers. Yes, Donald Trump.
Soros?
Oh, Ian, did you not know that the man Trump put in
Soros' passion project? It must be smart. It must be good.
No, Ian. Yeah, George Soros is a finance expert, and the fact you don't know that is sad.
I know who George Soros is. He's just not a fucking finance expert.
Are you kidding me?
I mean, he's a finance.
He's a finance expert. He's he's a hedge fund expert. And the fact, Ian, I feel like I'm talking to a toddler.
Donald Trump's this evil guy. Donald Trump's so evil. But listen to what George Soros has to say.
Hey, Ian, let me speak slowly for you because you don't know what's going on. You don't know basic economics, but I'm going to say it slower. Donald Trump, the man he put in charge of the Treasury, you know when Trump said he was going to trade the swap, that he was going to trade the swap, that he was going to trade the swap, that he lapdog Scott Bessent, who has his own failing hedge fund, by the way. He was very successful when working for a successful hedge fund manager, but then when started his own was like literally failing in real time. Trump has handed the Treasury over to him, and even Scott Bessent knows him. And even Scott Bessent knows that to but Scott Bessent knows.
At least Soros knows, right? Police.
No, Trump is the one. Wait, Trump hired George Soros's protege. Take it up with Donald Trump. Why are you taking it up with me? Scott Bessent is George Soros's protege. Trump is the one that let Soros into the Treasury. And that you are just spewing an anti-Semitic trope. George Soros is a finance genius.
An anti-Semitic trope because I don't agree with everything. Okay,
Yes,
that's not true.
that's
at
what
all.
you're
And
doing.
that's really
You don't even know that George Soros is a finance expert.
Can you name a thing you
You're
don't
coming
agree
after
with?
me for being anti-Semitic. Because
Yeah, I 100%
Can
am.
you name one thing George Soros has done that you don't agree with?
What do you mean?
Name something that George Soros talking about.
Doesn't Trump do that and all of his
Trump
billionaire
is
friends, his entire
literally
cabinet?
he just scammed everyone on a meme coin while sitting in the White House. What? It's almost like Ian has no idea what he's talking about. This is why I can't debate people. It's like, read a book.
Chat, I am so sorry about the lag. It is me. It's not y'all. My lag has been going on for 2 hours now. This is the very last day I'll be in this apartment. I'll be tomorrow. I will be moving into my new apartment. Yay! I'll have my very own place with new internet. So I will see y'all then.
Someone in the comments tagged me and asked why I think I know more than the average voter. Oh, because I think anybody could choose to educate themselves. Anybody could choose to learn. That's a personal choice. Being ignorant is a personal choice you make every day. I choose to read and learn every single day. That's a choice. And that's how I know. Every time I'm like, oh, I'm going to debate today. Just by showing up and defending Trump is an admission. You could not find your way out of a paper bag. It's basic logic.
I'm glitching really bad. I might request in a few minutes, but I'll rejoin in a sec.
All right, bub.
Yeah, I hope I didn't piss anybody off too bad. Thanks for talking to me. Felice, I'm going to go do some research onto what you said about devaluing the dollar, and maybe I'll be back.
Love it.
All right, girl.
Yay, Ian, you're not a bad guy. Come back and see me sometime.
Peace, I will.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Followed you.
Guys, we're lagging. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's...
I keep running internet speed tests, and it looks normal for a while, and then it's ass. I somehow just peaked at 200 megs upload.
I don't know what those numbers mean. Would you say, like, is that good? Is that bad?
It's real good. I don't know how I'm lagging with.
No, we can't move to my channel because I block every person that talks shit to me on my channel. Like, I can't debate on my channel because literally it's not good. We tried that once.
Yeah, it's not the channels. It's my actual internet. I'm not on a hotspot. I'm hardwired. But tomorrow I'll have different internet. So we'll see.
I've blocked every MAGA person. If anyone just looks at me wrong while I'm doing my lives, I just block them.
I did fully reset my router just before this live, an hour and a half ago. I don't think it's going to help anything. Guys, I think what helps is me working out my fingers, my grip.
Are you
That's probably
doing
what's
finger push-ups?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. If you guys, I do a show called The People's Receipts on Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, 11:30 Pacific, 2:30 Eastern. It's fun. Basically, it's just me calling out conservative lies and idiocy. It's a good time. We do clips and things. Yeah, the energy is I'm tired of talking to stupid people. That's the energy. That's the energy that you're witnessing.
Have I tried switching it on and off? Yeah, we tried. Guys, we also have a Venmo Cash App in our bio. Felice's Venmo and Cash App is right here. A girl has no name. If you guys are trying to support small stream content creators like us, that's probably the best way to do it. And I also have an Amazon wish list. I am moving into a new apartment tomorrow. If you guys are trying to help me out with a sweet gift, that's some of the best things you could buy for me are on that list. One of my most needed things on that list, it might still be there, is the stovetop. I really want a stovetop, chat. Someone sent me money for it, but I refuse to buy it myself.
Thank you for the $5, Kat. I just saw that.
I saw that too. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you so much, Kat. You're amazing. I love the name Kat. Where did you get that figure workout thing, and what is it for?
I don't know. So I got this and this in the package for like $12. So
Just gonna get strength in your hands.
I'm gonna.
That is actually hilarious, and that's actually good for like anxiety. Like it's like good fidget toys. Why not have the strongest fingers? That's what you should bring up to MAGA. Is like, how strong are your fingers?
Can you?
You got weak fingers.
You got liberal sissy hands. I started rock climbing. That's why I'm working out my fingers.
Oh yeah, I knew that. You just sent me a picture of you at a rock gym. Man, you're like a whole nother person.
I know. It's crazy. I went this
like
morning.
3 months ago, you're like, I'm gonna kill myself, and now you're like at rock gyms at like in the morning.
Yeah, life's great now. Life's great.
Dreams do come true.
Life is so good now, and some people hate to hear it.
Have I seen Free Solo? Are you talking about Alex Hanna, the guy that free solos things like with no harness? There's a new documentary of him, and he like runs to a mountain or like bikes like hundreds of miles to a mountain and then basically like free solos it. I know exactly who you guys are talking about. I went to college. I went to university in Idaho. There's a huge rock climbing community. Yeah, he like half dome. Yeah, one of I can't remember which ascent it was that he free soloed, but he's done much more since then. Thank you for the $10, Bundy, for being smarter than the average voter. Yeah,
Love that.
I work at it.
Love that.
Thank you, Uncle Bun. That's so sweet. I appreciate you so much. Best President's Day ever. I heard Trump is having a meltdown. Wait, I would have find like I saw like a news report of like just some. Wait, hold on. What is going on here? Oh, he posted again. They're not after me. They're after you. I'm just standing in the way. Happy President's Day. Oh, it's so sad. And it works on him every time. Whoever said when I grow up, I want to be Donald Trump. I want to be a billionaire's human shield. Where's his meme coin at?
I did. If anybody knows what rock climbing things are, I did a V4 recently. Be proud of me. I did a V4. We're only two. Did a V4. We're only two. Did a V4. We're only two. A little bit. Anyone see NATO had a meeting without us yesterday?
Oh, I wouldn't let us in the meetings. I wouldn't let Trump in the meetings.
It's my first wielding.
Trump said he's having on Friday. Last week, Trump said that him and Putin are going to figure out the future of Ukraine. They don't need NATO, and they do not need Ukraine. Zelensky there. So yeah, if I was them, I'd be having some meetings without us, like wondering, like thinking about what to do. Do you boulder? People want to know if you're a boulderer.
Yeah, I do boulder.
You aren't? That's awesome. I love that for you.
Yeah, we went this morning at 7 a.m. and it was fantastical.
Dude, I love being outside. You guys missed out. I was attacked by a dog earlier. There were like 4 police cars and like the fire department, and my legs had blood running down them. I should be at the hospital getting a rabies dramatic.
Connie with a 6-month subscription. Thank you so much, Connie.
Well, it's definitely a mutt. Like it had like husky eyes, but it's like chocolate brown. I feel so bad for this dog because having a shitty owner now, something bad might happen to the dog. I was like yelling at the lady because they found the dog. They found the owner like down the street because they thought the dog was going to attack another woman, but it was just running, I guess, to its owner. Running, I guess, to its owner. and she's crying. And I'm like, hey, whatever happens to this dog is because you're a shitty owner. Like, and I was like, I looked at the cop and I was like, we should put her to sleep. And it was like, what? It was like, let's put this woman to sleep and not her dog. It's not this dog's fault that this lady sucks. But they were like, well, animal control will call you and you could tell them that. And I was like, okay.
Guys, this number right here, 0.5 megabit per second, it's real bad. Real bad.
I know, but this was someone's dog. Like, it had a collar on. I don't think I had a tetanus shot recently, and I have a doctor's. Oh wait, I have a doctor's appointment in 20 minutes. I'm gonna get. I guess I need Augmentin, and then if I need a rabies shot, it's like a series. You have to go to I have to go to the emergency room for that.
Caroline, thank you for the $10 for my stove fund. Thank you.
For my stove. Do you have to buy your own stove? Where are you moving? That's like Europe shit.
They don't
in the rest of the world, like, there's no kitchen when you move. In the rest of the world, when you move into an apartment, there's nothing.
I have you have to buy it, and there's no stove, no dishwasher, but there's a sink and a fridge and like counter space.
How European?
I have to kind of put one in. I'm gonna be. It's like a loft inside of a giant house. So like I have my own living area inside of a big house with a bunch of roommates. So there's a common area with a kitchen that I probably don't want to go upstairs.
Are you moving? Wait, hold on. Are you moving to a house?
Yeah, it's like a house that's split into apartment.
Cool. Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
I kind of liked Ian and Jacob. Jacob is smart. It scares me when we meet such young. Their brains are working. It's like, I'm just talking about the people we were debating. I worry. I just hope they keep thinking. Our future depends on these kids' ability to think logically.
I don't have kitchens. Apartments in New York don't have kitchens. Yeah, I was thrown off. I was in an apartment in New York. My uncle, on my stepmom's side, very wealthy, like millionaire, possibly billionaire, and his apartment didn't have a garbage disposal, and I was so thrown off. I was like, "What in the fuck is this shit?"
Oh, yeah, that's true. You're used to urban sprawl where everyone has all those things. You don't know what you don't need until you live in New York. You don't even need anything in New York. You barely need a bathroom. You're just like, I'll just use my bathroom as my kitchen. Yeah, people do like being ignorant. I agree. It's like a hobby or something.
Yeah.
It's not. Don't underestimate advertising. Like, it's not. It's almost. I don't want to alleviate. We all have a responsibility to educate ourselves, but that's a lot of misinformation and disinformation to overcome.
Angela with the $10. Happy to see you. Happy. Thank you, Angela. Guys, I'm so sorry. I almost don't even think we're gonna get guests until my internet fixes.
No, I was gonna say, and I have a doctor's appointment in 20 minutes because I need to get antibiotics for the whole dog attack.
Yeah,
and then probably maybe go get a rabies shot.
I had a friend have to get a finger amputated because he got bit by a cat. So
okay,
don't skimp.
Don't even say that to me.
He didn't go to the doctor like you're doing. Then that's what
I am going. Okay, maybe I will go get the rabies. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm going to get the rabies shot now that I cannot lose a limb. Oh, thank you, Angela, for the $10. You're XOXO gossip girl. I know. I keep telling myself, well, it had a collar on it. It's probably didn't have rabies, but I probably should. I just don't want to be in pain. Does it hurt? Yeah, I know. I have heard that too, that cat bites and scratches have more bacteria. But that's why I guess in Arizona, because they were telling me that maybe my doctor could get me a rabies series, but no, it looks like you have to go to the ER. Someone said I'm an amputee with a laughing face. Is that a joke? I don't know how we should take that. What are we laughing about? I know. Why do people get what is many shots? How many shots is a rabies shot? Maybe I'll risk amputation. How many shots?
I had nightmares about getting injections last night, so I'm not.
Are you I more am like, I don't want to sit in the emergency room for 8 hours. Like if it Arizona, like this is like, I might get out tomorrow morning if I went like right now. How many, if you've been bitten by an animal that might have rabies, you'll need a series of rabies shots and a dose of human rabies immune globulin. You'll get more doses of rabies vaccines on days 3, 7, and 14. If you have an immune dose on day 28. Dose on day 28. Oh my God.
Grace, thank you so much for the $25, and Jennifer with the $5. She says, new home, good luck, love your show, look forward to it daily, from Staying Grateful. Thank you so much.
No, I know. I am worried about infection. That's why I'm getting I agree. Like immediate, I can't lose limbs.
I'm almost certain I have packet loss issues, guys, but there's no point in me asking them to come out and fix it because
you're leaving tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm out.
I think we had good conversations. I feel good. We need to do this like once a week. I miss you.
I know. Yeah, we need to. I would love to do that. And
yeah, we'll talk about
it. Good. Feels good to have.
You're moving. Like moving sucks.
It's probably going to be the easiest move ever. I have.
Oh yeah, because you don't have any.
Yeah, I have. Yeah. I don't own anything.
Yeah, that's great. Actually, that's awesome in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, cool. I'm going to go because I have a doctor's appointment in 20 minutes. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the broadcast, 10 a.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Love you guys. Thank you. I love hanging out. I'll see you. I'll text you later, Pickles, when my fingers start falling off.
If you haven't, follow her right now before she leaves.
Yeah, follow me. It's so true. Maybe I'll go live. Maybe I'll go live later. All my pay apps, if you want to give me money through PayPal, like it's like a Streamlabs link in my link tree that you can, it goes to my PayPal because I don't have like a tip jar set up where it's not my like last name. I'm trying not to dox myself. So, but yeah, in my link tree, the Streamlabs pay link, it goes to PayPal. Yeah, so I'll see you guys later, and I'll text you later, Pickles. I'll probably be I need to go probably get a rabies shot. Okay, bye.
All right, bye.